Hello. Happy Friday to you. Yes, it is Friday. Friday. For those of you that don't know, my name is Will Johnson. My website is uniteamericafirst.com. Please go there and support me today. Pick up one of the awesome, straight up awesome t-shirts. Right there. You can see them. I have especially this one right here. Go to it. Check it out. Look at that. Ooh, that's a really good shirt there, right? Come on now. Support me today. Go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Support me. Come right off the bat. So I have another version of this one too. I just really want to show you real quick. Look at that one. That's the one I got on right now. And, the left, they hate to see someone like me thinking for myself. But anyways, hey, do me a favor. Share this video. Please hit the share button on this. Also, if you're on Facebook, hit the love. Give me some love. Hit that heart button for me because it helps out with the algorithms. And of course, on YouTube, smash that like button. Smash it. Just smash that like button. And if for those of you that don't like me and you're on YouTube, smash the dislike button twice. Show me what's up. Smash it twice. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, so apparently Joe Brandon, he goes into, I guess he's doing rallies now. I'm not even sure what it was all about, but he was doing a rally. I guess he's trying to campaign for, other socialists in America right now. And he goes up there and he says something about MAGA Republicans. He says that he has no respect for MAGA Republicans. My question to Joe Biden, and to everyone out there that's watching right now, live right now, or the replay, does Joe Biden, a.k.a. O'Biden, does he have respect for America? Just think about that for 1 second. Just think about that. Ever since he came about, look what happened to our southern border. Look what happened to the energy issue in the United States of America. Look what's happening to the way they're targeting children in schools. Look at all of this stuff. Look at how bad. Look at your 401k. The list goes on. That doesn't look like or sound like someone who respects America to me. What about you? What do you think? Does that seem like there's someone that respects America? I think Joe Biden, along with the Democrats, none of them respect America. None of them like America. But you know what? They kind of want Trump's America. They want Trump's America, just not with Trump, right? This is who they are. So let me go ahead and share this with you. But again, hit that share button. Help me get past the algorithms. Also, copy the link. If you're scared to share it, you don't want people to say, oh man, I can't let people know that I'm supporting Will Johnson. Copy the link and text it to someone that you know loves America. That's how we can get past the algorithm. Say, hey, check this dude out. Okay, let's get on with this. Look at this. So Joe Biden, he's at an event, and what happened was somebody was in the front row, and I can't say it here live because then they'll penalize me for telling you what they said. But I actually showed it on my broadcast tonight on Lindell TV too. If y'all really interested, go check it out. You can check out my channel on there on Lindell TV, which is frankspeech.com. You can check it out and you can see the beginning of what was said to Joe Biden before he made this statement. He literally comes down here and says that he has no respect for MAGA Republicans. Really? He has no respect for MAGA Republicans. My question is, does he have respect for America? Because we're talking about people who love freedom. That's who MAGA Republicans are. We're talking about people who love God. That's who MAGA Republicans are. We're talking about people who put America first. That's who he's talking about. Listen to this.
I don't respect these MAGA Republicans.
You hear that?
I don't respect these MAGA Republicans. I don't respect these MAGA Republicans.
And then what you don't hear, they all start clapping. Yes, we don't either. We don't like him either. Talking about the division. Most of the division that takes place comes from the Democrats. And then, you know what? You know who he respects? He respects people like Liz Cheney, Adam Kissinger, Mittens Romney, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and time to time, Kevin McCarthy. That's the type of Republicans that he likes, because those type of Republicans, they will bend over backwards for the Democrats. That's the type that he wants. That's the type that he likes. I mean, this is really interesting. And also, you know, Joe Biden, he literally said that he didn't have any clue talking about, or when the FBI went and raided President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Do y'all recall that? And now it's all coming out that he initiated it. It was initiated via the Biden administration. And to my understanding, the way I understand it, that the Biden administration, Biden decided to try to make it to where President Trump doesn't have any executive privileges when it comes to the documents that they're so-called looking for, and the documents that President Trump had. Now, they constantly already came out and said that when President Trump was in the office, he could declassify any documents that he want. And they're acting like President Trump picked up the box of documents himself and walked out the door with them, knowing good and well he didn't do that. And President Trump has been straightforward from day one and saying, look, if you need this information, whatever you need, here it is. Whatever it is that you need, let me know. Whatever it is that you need. What does that say? Does that say that's a guilty person? And see, the Democrats just say, oh, he's just saying that because he wants people to believe that he's not guilty. No one does that if they're guilty. But I want to do a recap here for you, because listen to what Joe Brandon said here. Listen to what he said.
Mr. President, how much advance notice did you have of the FBI's plan to search Mar-a-Lago?
I didn't have any advance notice. None. Zero. Not one single bit.
What symbol is he holding up there? I mean, I'm just asking. This is your boy holding that up. If we hold that up, what does that mean? But seriously, he's actually saying that he didn't know anything about it. Peter Doocy from Fox News asked the question, what did you know about the FBI going to Mar-a-Lago? And he's trying to act like he had no clue. Act like he had no clue. But guess what? He initiated. It was initiated from his office. And they knew that what they were doing. They wanted to get President Trump because they see President Trump is still a force to be reckoned with. And they can't stand it. They're so terrified. Again, the only reason why they're doing this is because they're terrified of President Trump. And President Trump is just a man. They're terrified because they know all of the positive things that President Trump did when he was in office. They don't want him to repeat it. They don't want him to come back and fix America. Right? Now, of course, those of us that are mega Republicans, those of us, we believe in God. We know only God can fix America. Only God can fix the world. But we know, we have to recognize that God will use people to do his bidding. And I pray that God use me every single day. Listen to this. When we're talking about the FBI, and now think about this. The FBI is a government agency. Will we all agree? Do you agree that the FBI is a government agency, just like the CIA, the DOJ? There's a few other 3 letters, right? This is a federal government agency. The federal government agency known as the FBI went to Facebook, Twitter, and other social media outlets to get them to censor American people. Basically, to hit us with our freedom of speech. They literally violated the First Amendment. That's exactly what the federal government did. And again, I'm constantly saying this and reminding people, they did this against the American people via a proxy of the tech companies. This is huge. And apparently, it looks like these tech companies, because this information coming out, especially after Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, come on. And I didn't say his name before, but after what he said when he went on Joe Rogan, he let the cat out the bag. It's really interesting to me. It's almost like he went on Joe Rogan and he was completely honest. I mean, this is wild. So any other time we hear, Mark Zuckerberg, people saying he's lying, but he goes on Joe Rogan, it's like I can't help it, I got to tell the truth. It's like Joe Rogan has this spell about himself, spell on them. I don't know what it is. But now Even YouTube and these tech companies are saying, okay, we're not going to hold back. We're not going to do X, Y, Z. You know, we're going to allow people to say stuff. Well, it's kind of too late. The federal government already did it. But listen to this. This is huge. Talking about Hunter Biden's laptop when they all work together hand in hand with the federal government to hinder people from even talking about it. And again, when it first came out, I didn't talk about it because I didn't know anything about it. So I didn't have nothing to say. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't have nothing to say. But now all this information coming out, this is huge. Listen to this.
Fox News alert. Americans can rest easy tonight knowing that 2 dangerous criminals are off the streets and are heading to prison. No, they didn't kill anybody. They didn't rape. They didn't traffic drugs or underage kids. And no, they didn't get loaded and wreck their Porsche. They found Ashley Biden's diary, and they tried to sell it. According to the Department of Justice, Amy Harris and Robert Kurlander pled guilty today to, quote, conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property.
My question is, why would they plead guilty to that? I mean, do they not have a lawyer that would stand up for them and say, no, they didn't actually steal this? Now, it would be one thing if they went into, the Biden's home and they searched for this diary. And when did diaries become top secret documents? Really, when did a diary become top secret documents? I don't understand that one. And again, they didn't go into the Biden's home and take it. The Biden left it up, just gave it up. Listen.
That has to be the least used federal statute on the books. But the diary was never stolen. Ashley Biden abandoned it. She left it under a mattress in a Florida halfway house where she was recovering from her sex and drug addiction. I have a legitimate question. Why don't the Biden kids ever clean up after themselves? Did they grow up with maids? Hunter is leaving his laptop at repair shops and his crack pipes and rental cars. Ashley's just ditching her diary around a bunch of drug addicts. This is the sloppiest family I've ever seen. It's almost like they want to get caught. Talk about daddy issues. We don't have time for that tonight, though. But the DOJ doesn't care. They're making it seem like these 2 people broke into the Biden family beach house and stole it out of the big guy's safe. They accused Harris and Kurlander of crossing state lines with stolen property and using an encrypted messaging app to communicate with journalists. Oh, so like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, those are not really secure. They're not really secure at all because they can see all that information right in there. But again, this story, again, with the FBI working for the Biden administration or the Biden regime, which a lot of people refer to as.
Billions of people use that across the world. These people aren't Russian hackers. But that's what Merrick Garland wants you to think. And listen, these people aren't totally clean. They're getting high and they find a diary and they try to shop it for money to buy drugs, all before an election. They shopped it to a bunch of outlets. No one wanted it. And eventually ended up at Project Veritas. James O'Keefe wanted it, and he was suspicious, though, and needed confirmation that this was the real deal. So the duo went back down to Florida to find more evidence to corroborate it. O'Keefe paid 40 grand for it, but never even ran the story. Next thing you know, the FBI raids his house. And listen, the diary...
That's wild to me. The FBI raids James O'Keefe's home because of a diary. Because of a diary. Now, I'm willing to bet, without me even being there, I'm willing to bet somebody made copies. Somebody have copies of that diary. I'm willing to bet somewhere it is. Probably say, you know what? If y'all make copies, don't tell me. Here, just give it back to me. I'm willing to bet someone has copies somewhere. And why would the FBI think that a diary or act like a diary is, a diary full of nuclear codes? That's exactly how they're acting.
Would have been a big October surprise had anybody run with it. It's full of dirt on the first family. In it, Ashley wrote about being hypersexualized in her youth, saying, quote, I remember having sex with friends at a young age and showers with my dad. Probably not appropriate. quote unquote. You think Joe wants that out in public? Around election season? No. But the FBI is acting like this was a matter of national security. Here's the New York Times. Since the investigation began nearly 2 years ago, federal investigators have moved aggressively, carrying out court-authorized searches at the homes of 2 former Project Veritas operatives and the group's founder, James O'Keefe. You know what hot lead they weren't aggressively pursuing? Hunter Biden's laptop.
Exactly.
Which actually was and still is a major matter of national security. Instead, the FBI did everything they could to bury it. Whistleblowers just blown the lid off the entire Hunter story, saying the FBI leadership was actively doing everything they could to cover it up, telling agents not to investigate the laptop until after the 2020 election. Didn't the American people deserve to see what was on the computer before casting their vote? I guess not. Because the cover-up didn't stop there. It was a full-court press. After FBI leadership kept everything hush-hush at the Bureau, they turned to the social media giants. We know that Twitter wasted no time in silencing the story, but that wasn't the Fed's only target. Watch this.
There was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story. The New York Post.
Yeah, we had that too.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different path than Twitter. I mean, basically, the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. There was we thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false. The distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you could still share it. You could still consume it.
So when you say the distribution is decreased,
it got shared.
How does that work?
It basically, the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less.
You know, that's still censorship. That's AKA shadow banning. You know, they kick in the algorithms to make sure that, you know, certain stories don't reach people. Certain stories, you know, are so people can't make their own determination if they want to believe something or not. You know, and then the federal government again came in and told them not to allow certain information to go out there. And if someone posts it, make sure you block it and stop it. The federal government should not be in the business of telling us if we should believe in UFOs or not. That's not their job.
So fewer people saw it than would have otherwise.
The FBI told Facebook the Hunter Biden story was actual Russian disinformation. This is what you're up against. A full assault from all angles. The FBI is weaponized now. They work for Joe Biden.
Yes, they work for Joe Biden. And that's why so many people are asking, can we trust the FBI? And now all of a sudden, you know, the left, they trust the FBI. Oh, my goodness, they love the FBI. Keep doing dirty work. And, of course, demons will love demons. Demons will protect demons. That's the reason why we're seeing that. They're not even hiding it. I mean, it's like, what? And to me, it's still like, it's surreal. It's like, this can't absolutely be happening. This can't be happening. Am I the only, I know I'm not the only one. I just like saying that. Am I the only one who's seeing this? I know I'm not. But listen to Tucker. He's even talking about the social media and how they've been doing the American people. And you know how I'm constantly saying that the government using tech companies as a proxy to censor or to violate the First Amendment? Listen to this.
In case you didn't live in this country prior to 2 years ago, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. That is election interference. That is an attack on democracy by our most powerful domestic government agency. It's unbelievable. It defies belief. We actually put in a request to Facebook to see the communications from the FBI to Facebook. We have a right to see it. We hope that they'll send them to us. Keep in mind that in October of 2020, a Facebook executive and Democratic Party operative called Andy Stone claimed that Facebook was blocking the story, quote, as part of our standard process to reduce the spread of misinformation. So they didn't tell us that the FBI had told them it was Russian disinformation. Again, when the FBI knew perfectly well that it wasn't. Harmeet Dillon has watched all of this from the very beginning. She's the country's premier civil rights lawyer, founder of the Center for American Liberty, joining us tonight. Harmeet, thanks for coming on. This seems like a blockbuster and a shocking story to me.
It is shocking, Tucker, but it confirms information that we already had. So, for example, I already sued Twitter after the election for taking people's speakers down, including my client, Rogan O'Hanley. And it turned out that he was taken down at the request of the California Secretary of State, who was auditioning to become a United States Senator in the Biden administration. And so we filed a lawsuit, went to court, showed the judge all the evidence of how the government was involved in the censorship, and the judge didn't buy it. This case is now pending before the Ninth Circuit, and there have been other instances like this, but hearing it from Mark Zuckerberg's mouth is truly stunning, and I don't know how the government can deny this. So to be clear, the timeline is that just...
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. It came out the Zuckerberg's mouth. It came out of his mouth. Like he went on Joe Rogan, and all of a sudden, he just has this compassion to be truthful. And so my question is, would the left say that he's lying now? Would the left say that? Because some leftists, they do hate Zuckerberg. There's some leftists, they do. You know why they hate Zuckerberg? Because they allow people like me to still be on the platform to say something. They allow people like you. The leftists, they hate that. They're no different than the Nazis were in Nazi Germany. They want to burn every single digital book that they can. But now that it came out of his mouth, they're like they can't avoid it. And again, I can't go into detail, and I'm not going to. I talked to someone that's very credible. Black conservative patriot. Do y'all know who he is? Black conservative patriot. Oh my goodness. He was messaging me earlier, and he was telling me how YouTube decided to allow certain information to go on the platform. It's a trap. I'm not going to do it. But maybe because of the FBI, what was happening here and people starting to see, maybe they're like, okay, well, we need to try to reverse all of this. I'm still not going to buy it. But listen to this. 3
weeks before the 2020 election is when the FBI reached out to Twitter, Facebook, as well as maybe other companies, and said, hey, we heard about this Russian disinformation. You might want to suppress this information on your website. And by the way, when the FBI reaches out to you, taps you on the shoulder, and asks you to do something, that isn't a suggestion. They have subpoenas, they have guns, and they also are from a government that regulates you. And so this is shocking, and it demands an investigation, but it just adds up to the pile of evidence that I've been saying points to a major reorganization or disbanding of the FBI is needed at this point. I don't trust anything that they say.
Exactly. I mean, this corruption, the level of corruption that we're seeing coming from the FBI is very telling. And of course, the liberal media, the liberal left, they're not even really concerned about it, but they should be, because think about it. If it was the other way around, oh my goodness, they would be screaming. They'll probably be rioting like they normally do, talking about the FBI need to be dismantled. And it's really the seventh floor of the FBI, the big wigs, the ones that are at the top of the food chain in the FBI, because they're the ones pushing all these orders down to the rest of them. And the rest of them, they just follow orders and they go, well, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. Have y'all heard that before? I'm just doing my job. As they put you in camps, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. It's the exact same thing.
So just to be totally clear, from a legal perspective, the U.S. government is not allowed to use disinformation to encourage censorship for partisan ends. That's not allowed under the Constitution, correct?
Okay. Tucker, it's a violation of the First Amendment for the government to engage in censorship, quite clearly. Yeah. And by the way, who needs Russian disinformation when we have our own? We have our own disinformation coming from the FBI and our own government. And this is not trivial just because it's being done to the other side. Anybody could control the FBI, or some forces can get in there and decide they don't like Joe Biden. Are they going to go out there and start spreading misinformation or suppressing information that's truthful about the Biden administration? I mean,
exactly. See, this is the point. But you know what? The left, they don't think about that. They can care less. They can care less about, false information. They really, actually, the left, they absorb false information. They like false information. They like disinformation because they reject the truth. And they've demonstrated that to us over and over and time again. It's no secret.
Like that either. This cannot be allowed. We cannot let our law enforcement do this, and we've seen it before. So this is not the country that we want to be living in, Tucker.
No, it's not. Army Tillman, thank you.
It's not. It's not the country that we want to be living in. At least I don't. I don't know about you, but so many people are really getting fed up with it, right? Time and time again, people are really getting fed up with it. What do we do about the corruption? How do we stop the corruption? I can tell you, there is a peaceful way how to stop the corruption, but we have to do our part. A peaceful way to stop the corruption, but we have to do our part. And that time is coming up really quick. November. Remember, November. That's how we do it peacefully. But we have to do this. We have to do our part. We can't get complacent. This is like one of the most important midterm. I think, really, to be honest with you, I think, and I said this about the one in 2018, but I think this one is so important. And more people are starting to really pay attention because now they're concerned about their children. They're concerned about, the schools. They're concerned about the businesses that they own. They don't want them to get shut down again. And the Democrats, if they can, they're going to do that very thing. Let me talk about something else really quick, if I can. Now, talking about the mental state, right? You have the left. They always constantly talking about the health of, mental health. They're constantly talking about that all the time. Well, how come you think they don't talk about the mental health when it comes to Joe Brandon and Fetterman? How come you think they don't talk about the mental health? Now, CNN, the Communist News Network, they actually did bring up Fetterman's health, and they said and they're giving it an excuse. They're saying, well, he kind of possibly had a stroke, so this is the reason why he talks this way. But you know what? This is abuse. They look the other way when they see that these people have problems. Listen to this.
And you can count on us to eliminate the filibuster.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
What is wrong with demanding for an easy, safe kind of their income, a path to a safe place for them to win?
Of Putin's kleptocracy, yeah.
And let's get some stuff done for America.
From Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa.
If you come out and step with us, we will be able to stand with you in D.C.
I mean, really. And every time I look at that, I cringe. I'm like, this is bad. But they ignore it. The left, they completely ignore that there's an actual problem there. And again, like I said earlier, they want Trump's America just without Trump. And again, they will be happy to support the Antichrist. Hear me out. If the Democrats knew that he come out and he said he's the Antichrist and he's doing all these terrible things, and he happened to want to run for presidency in the United States of America and President Trump, they would still support the Antichrist. Hands down. And a lot of them even call themselves Christians. Talking about someone who is Antichrist, this dude here, he's asked a question by a reporter. Will he, how far will he go when it comes to taking the life of an unborn child? Can the child, on its way out, being born, can you abort the child then? That's the question. Listen to his answer. He's basically gonna say, you know what, if the woman and the doctor decides to take the life of the child the day of birth, basically, this is what he's saying. Listen to what he says. He's completely fine with it. Talking about Antichrist, talking about being demonic.
As governor of Texas, would you allow for any restriction on abortion, including an up to partial birth abortion?
Here's the way that I approach this issue. Listening to Dr. Barelli, Dr. Kumar, these extraordinary women who have just shared their stories. I trust women and their doctors to make their decisions about their body, about their health care, and about their future. I think that is the best, smartest, most constitutional and most American, most Texan approach to this issue. And that's the way that I would approach it.
There's nowhere in the Constitution that murder is okay. There's no constitutional saying, yeah, you can murder somebody. And if you find a pregnant woman that has been murdered by somebody, what do they call that? What do they call that? Somebody, anybody, is considered to be a double homicide. Murder is not okay. It's never been okay. But they have justified it in their minds. They're saying it, they're justifying it, saying it's 100% okay for them to be able to take the life of the unborn child. I mean, this is the most innocent of us all, the unborn child, the most innocent, right? Because none of us are innocent, right? None of us are innocent. But when you talk about the level of us that's innocent, the unborn child is the most innocent of us all. Wow. And I can't help it but think, what's going through their minds? What's going through their minds to justify that it's okay for them to take the life of a child? And it's not just about rape or incest, because if we just excluded those, then can we talk about the other 99%? Can we say that no to that? But see, they don't want to do that either. And again, I believe the reason why they're doing this is because of biblical reasons. And I've said this before, and some people kind of got upset with me because I said this. You want me to tell it to you again? Some people got upset with me. When Moses was born, who was it? Pharaoh said, kill all the firstborn men, males, remember? I think up to the age of 3. Right? Because he knew a king was coming, and Satan put it in his mind to say, kill all these males. When Jesus was born, who was it then? Herod said, kill all of the firstborn males, kill all the males, right? Because Satan put it in his mind to do it. And again, today, I think the reason why they're doing this now, trying to kill, and it's not just now. Not just today. It didn't just start today. But I truly believe that Satan's like, okay, strike 1, strike 2. They know that there's 2 coming, right? The 2 witnesses. And people got upset with me last time when I said that. And that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, because they have their ideas on what the 2 witnesses are. But see, the way I see it, that the 2 witnesses are coming, and Satan knows that they're coming. So Satan has convinced man to kill the babies in the womb instead of letting them be born. Right? And some people think, well, the 2 witnesses are going to ascend from heaven. Nowhere does it say that, though. People getting upset with me for saying that. Nowhere does it say that. We can assume that all day, but nowhere does it say that. Some people say, well, one of the witnesses is going to be Elijah, but it doesn't say that either. I'm just saying, hey, don't get mad at me. It's the word. But that's the reason why I believe that there's so much pushing on abortion. That's the only thing I can explain it. Why would they convince man so much all over the planet to do it? All over the planet to kill God's creation, the most innocent of us all. Just think about it. It's not Will Johnson, it's them doing it. Talking about killing, you remember the 13 soldiers that lost their lives for no apparent reason in Afghanistan because this administration pulled out of Afghanistan, did a extremely poor job about it. Y'all know what you know what I'm talking about? Well, the Communist News Network, which maybe the Communist News Network is trying to change, right? Because they've been bought out by Time, or was it by Warner Brothers? They're trying to change. They're trying to change. Listen to this, because they're actually talking to one of the widows, right? To my understanding, one of the widows that lost, no, actually, not widow, she lost her son. And she lost her son, more than one son, actually, because of Joe Biden. And CNN is actually showing this. This can't be good for the Biden regime. Listen to this.
Shanna Chappell wants you to hear her grief, but also her rage. That 1 year after the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, she...
You hear that? The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. This is Communist News Network saying this. That's what I'm like, what? This is the only reason why I'm playing it. Because it's horrible. But listen to what they're saying.
1 year after the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, she feels forgotten.
Because the withdrawal was a complete failure. Doesn't look good for the administration, so they wanted the disastrous pullout forgotten about, and they wanted the 13 that were killed to be forgotten about, mainly because they were so young. It could have been handled completely differently, and those 13 kids would still be here. They were treated like they were disposable and replaceable.
That's horrible. And that, you know what? That's exactly what Joe Brandon did. Because y'all remember when the 13 caskets were coming off the airplane and they were going, and the mothers were crying, bawling, and Joe Biden was like, I'm ready to go. I have somewhere else to be. It's nap time. It's nap time. Y'all remember that? Dude is disgusting. There's no coming back from that. But the Democrats, they all look the other way. They act like it didn't even happen. They act like, oh, well, that's just, another chapter in all of this. Besides, he gave us, forgiveness on our debt. $10,000 that all of you have to pay. Well, all of us. Dude is disgusting. Dude is disgusting. All right, let me go ahead and say thank you to everyone who's blessed me, and I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. And I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place. I actually had some coffee. I had some coffee before I came on here. My coffee from mystore.com. I'm bouncing. And see, I'm not really a big coffee drinker. I'm really not. And, so I can't tell you what, good coffee or bad coffee, but I like this coffee. So if you want to try it, use promo code UNITES1, mystore.com. Got me bouncing off the walls here. And it's Friday night. All right. Hey, let me say thank you to Laura. Thank you so much for the stars. Thank you so much for that. Nancy, thank you so much for the stars as well. Chelsea, thank you so much. George, thank you so much for the stars. Chuck, thank you. CDP, thank you so much for the Cash App. I really do appreciate you. Lou, thank you for the super chat. And I think there was a comment from Lou on the super chat. I think I saw that. Let me see. I wish that I could see the comments on Facebook, but it never shows it to me. Let me see. Lou said, "Sir, you speak the truth and the deceivers will lose." Yes. But the deceivers have their ruler over this domain, right? This realm. And the Bible's clear about it. So they're gonna win these little small battles, right? But at the end, we know who wins. Jesus has already won the battle. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being with me. And please, if you would, could you hit the share button for me? Please hit the share button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Like right now, I only can see it on Facebook. The other ones, they don't ever show it to me. That's the reason why I refer to Facebook. Facebook right now has 362 shares. Can y'all help me to get to 400? Please. I'm asking nicely. Please. Can y'all help me get to 400? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Get into prayer. Reality check.